Your grocery budget is ballooning every week. Do you feel like meal planning is just this unneeded, daunting task, just another thing to add to your plate? Honestly, you cannot afford to not meal plan. I'm going to show you a fail-proof system that is realistic and efficient. No longer going to be coming home from the grocery store wondering, what exactly did I just buy? Before I had kids, I could essentially just go into a grocery store with whatever I kind of was in the mood for that night and just pick it up. And it didn't really matter if some of it went to waste because, well, we had the extra income. When we started having kids and I quit my job, every dollar counted and every minute needed to stretch. No more DoorDash, no more aimless grocery store runs at 10 p.m. I had to get on the ball. If you are starting your week at the grocery store, you are setting yourself up for failure. Before you even enter the grocery store, and even yet before you open up Pinterest to get your inspiration for the week, you need to be looking at what you already have on hand. Start with what you have in your fridge. Look at your leftovers. Is there anything you can recreate for next week? Is there something that's about to go bad that has to get used up immediately? Is there anything in your fridge that you can carry over into the next week so you're not repurchasing that at the grocery store? Do you have any meat or anything that you froze 2 years ago that you completely forgot about? Does that need to get thrown away, or can we actually maybe use it? I like to call this a mini pantry challenge, using everything that you have up in your pantry before going back to the grocery store. Instead of just having 1 month fully dedicated to that, I just do that every single week. Once we have a good idea of what we actually have on hand, now is the time to actually write out our meal plan. This is kind of where a lot of us go wrong, and I'm looking at you, make everything from scratch, Crunchy Sally over there. While I know we would all love to make absolutely everything from scratch, that is just not going to be possible when you have dance, Awana, and your raw milk pickup all in the same night. This is not the day to plan your 12-hour sauce with your homemade gnocchi. Pull the lasagna out of the freezer that you made 2 months ago, or maybe even the one you bought from Aldi. Save those intense from scratch meals for the Saturdays when everybody's going to be home and you're gonna have the extra time, or maybe even like a Friday night. Just take 15 minutes, look at the week ahead and look at the days. What days might be a little chaotic? I often have days where I have Bible study in the morning, work in the afternoon, and I know I'm not gonna get home till 4:30. All of this is while I have my 2 kids in tow. No, by the time I get home at 4:30, they are going to be overstimulated and tired, and they will not let me just spend my time cooking something up in the kitchen. I need something I can pull from the freezer or pull out of the fridge and make in 5 minutes. These are the nights that I'm going to plan something like a frozen pizza or a grilled cheese. But here's the thing, is that it's in my meal plan. Here is where I was going wrong, is I wasn't planning for these days that were going to be chaotic. And I had already spent my grocery budget for the week. I didn't have any wiggle room for picking up a frozen pizza. This is already accounted for. So when I realize I don't have the capacity to make something for dinner tonight, I already have that planned out. Once your week is planned out and you know exactly what days you're gonna need something quick and simple and what days you can lend a little more towards a deeper meal, look at what you have on hand and figure out how you can piece the puzzle together of what you already have. Go to Pinterest, or I'll look at my cookbooks and I'll say like, oh, I have some chicken and some broccoli and some soy sauce. Like, what is something I can throw together out of these ingredients? Trying to think of things other than dinner is also really important. So trying to think if you can maybe make a pre-made breakfast that will last you throughout the week, or even just 3 or 4 mornings. So that way you're not having to wake up every morning trying to think about what you're going to make for breakfast, and then also anticipating what you might need for lunches throughout the week as well. So that's another thing that's off your plate. Once your meal plan is jotted down, you're going to fill in the gaps with your grocery list. I personally love using the Instacart app for my grocery list because I get an accurate representation of what is on hand at the store at that time. Instacart even has a new feature where you don't even have to use like their in-store, like their shopping thing. They literally have like a shopping list section So you can create your own shopping list and you don't actually have to use their delivery or pickup portion. It just makes things so much smoother, and you get a general idea of what you're going to spend. While I know some people are really big on going to every store to try to get the best deal. You're going to Kroger here because you have 3 coupons, you're going to Meijer because you have some M perks, and then you're going to Aldi to fill in the gaps. I highly recommend, especially if you are shopping with kids, to go to one store. And if you have Aldi, I highly recommend Aldi being that one store, creating a bigger opportunity for you to be sold something. So unless you are super disciplined and you're able to say no to all the extra marketing, then go ahead, try to do some price shopping and some couponing, especially if you're shopping with kids. They're just being bombarded with marketing throughout the whole grocery store. Not only fight your own desires to overspend and be marketed to, you are also having to constantly say no to your kids. Generally, if I know Aldi doesn't have something, I usually try to make a substitution with something that they do have to fit my recipes for the week. Get to Aldi first thing in the morning because that's generally when they do their meat markdowns, and I have found so many good deals on their meat. When you get home from the grocery store, you are not done. Instead of just throwing everything into the fridge and into your pantry, front load as much of the work throughout the week as you can right away so you're not having to think about it later. I have a very clingy 1-year-old right now, and there's a lot of times in the mid-afternoon when I'm trying to get dinner started where she will not let me put her down. I get home from the grocery store or at a time where she's not being clingy or maybe she's napping, I can spend that time pre-chopping any vegetables, prepping any potatoes, getting any sauces made, marinating meats in that time. So that way throughout the week when it comes to 4 or 5 o'clock, when my kids just seem to be the clingiest and the most needy, I can focus on helping them. And by the time you have all of that set up and done, hopefully the only thing you have to do when it comes to actually making dinner throughout the week is things that you can do at least just with one hand. Hopefully, some of these tips helped you really figure out how to hone in your meal planning and take control of your kitchen, completely cut down almost entirely on any decision fatigue that I get throughout the week when it comes to trying to decide what I'm going to be making my kids for lunch, dinner, what I'm going to be doing for breakfast. Now, going into every week, you can have the confidence that you know what's going to be on the table and you don't have to live by this chaotic life anymore, and you actually have control over your kitchen and you have control over the chaos of the day. What are some ways that you have found to be able to get control over your kitchen and anticipate the chaos? We all know chaos is going to happen. We can anticipate the chaos and not try to put too much on our plate and spread ourselves too thin.